Hey everybody, it's Mike over here at Growtopia, and we have finally finished after doing 3,000 projects all at the same time. We have replanted the plants. So, from earlier, we had my clipboard, right? We had one Amish and two super sauce. So what I did is I doubled it, so I reseeded two of them. Cucumbers, we needed 3 more plants. Cucamelons, we needed 3 more. Green zebras, we needed 2 more. Red, white, and blue tomato. I'm sorry. Green zebra, we needed 1, but I made it 2. Red, white, and blue tomato, we only needed 1, but I made that 2. The Floridale tomato needed 1. I made that 2. The tomatillo, this Mexican tomato, we needed 2 of those, but I did 3. Tiny Tims, I wanted to add 3 more out there. I had Thai basil down to 4 of them, but I changed it from Thai to large leaf basil because I like the large leaf ones better. Large cherry tomato, we needed 1. I did 2. Rainbow beefsteak tomato, we needed 1. I did 2. And then I did a full tray of sunflower seeds. What the fuck is she doing? Cat ran over. Cat was like. So I did 1 full tray, which is 15 pods in it, so it's 15 plants, 1 seed per pod. And then I got 1 tray off to itself by itself with the avocado seed that normally sits on the corner of my desk, looking like a weird egg from some type of animal. I just stuck it in the soil, and that's it. And it's getting like 80 degrees. So anybody who's new to the channel, you might not have ever seen this book before, but I call it the Bible. It is a book that has all my records of everything I've done ever since I started planting, keeping track of stuff, and my planting guide on when to plant plants with the temperature of the mat, the type of plant it is, the month, and like a little description down below. And I'll show you guys what the first page looks like. You guys can see it. It's kind of hard with the cell phone, but you can see that. Hopefully you guys can make that out. Okay, so, and if anybody really wants to see it, per se, like see each page of how everything's written out, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, a lot of all this stuff that I get from, literally, is actually from watching James Pigioni's YouTube channel. So I got all the information from there, and then I looked up different sources and stuff online, and I came up with this planting guide that's starting off in the month of mid-January. You can start your jalapenos because they're sensitive to cold. But anyway, so that's not what I'm looking at now. So like I got like the month of April. See, we're in the month of May. You know, like so month of May you got melons. So melons are direct sow into raised beds, 70 to 75 degrees. That's what I wanted to look at. Cantaloupe, watermelon, soil must be over 70 degrees and a lot of sun, good air circulation, 1/2 inch depth, 2 seeds per hole for indoor. Plant 2 to 4 weeks before transplanting outside, and that's for melons. We are currently having none of those temperatures at all. Today it was 50 degrees and it's getting up to a high of 55. It is windy. It just started getting dark again. It's 10 a.m. It looks like it's going to rain again, and then I just found out it's going to rain for the next 4 days or 5 days. So the whole buckwheat that I wanted to plant, I'm not planting it, just because I don't want it to get washed away. And I was looking online at temperatures, and it doesn't like the temperatures that I'm currently having, which I thought you can grow it all year round as like a winter crop, but I must be thinking of something else. You know, all these temperatures are saying it, and I ignored it when I went to go transplant everything outside because the temperatures looked like they were doing good. And then as soon as I put everything outside, we dropped down into like 60s and 50s, and it just freaking killed everything. At least most of it. And then the wind and the we've had rain. What was it yesterday? We had an inch of rain in about, I think it was like half an hour to an hour. I was at a farm and they had the water collection gauge outside, and we just like. In half an hour that I was there, it was already at 1 inch. It was like, what the fuck? So that really doesn't help anything at all. Even if you put like the wood chips around the plant, it's just still not helping much. But hey, you know, maybe, you know, the strongest survive, like they always say, right? The good die young. So like cucumbers, melons, squashes, green beans, sweet potatoes for the month of May. Month of May, I don't have a temperature on them. Obviously, they're doing good out there. Green beans, I don't have a temp on there and all, but I have like, you know, 70, 75 for like the squashes, the pumpkins, the gourds, the cucumbers, the melons, and then like different stuff that's listed in there. Like, you know, I could replant more squash in June and July, and they are heavy feeders. Summer, winter, and zucchini. They love heat, so soil temp 70 and above. Right now, soil temp out there is like barely 60. Got borage, sunflower, cannelle, zena, anioca. Those are different plants. Direct sow in pods. Direct or sow in pods put in greenhouse. Or moving outside. Replant indoors or out. Repeat last process. Tomatoes, lettuce, carrots, and radishes. So May, you can also obviously redo your tomatoes like I did. In June, we'll get into what you can do in June. When June comes around, June's another one. June is usually when I do my corn, my sweet corn, but I decided to jump ahead and plant it early, which is where we are going to jump ahead to. And then like I have like zoning locations inside the Bible on where stuff is, where everything goes, and then my records. So, you know, like on the left hand side is overwintering, and on the right hand side is planting. So for like overwintering, I have like the plant, the greenhouse date, the orchard date, the spring temp, the fall temp, the greenhouse date, the nursery date, the spring growth, and the fall growth. That's just to keep track of my tropicals, or my overwintering. But like my tropicals, I got my banana, my lemon, my lime, and now I got the 6 birds, the 6 fake birds of paradise, the lobster claws. They got incorporated in that as well. And I got my coffee bean plant, but that's going to stay inside unless it could go outside, but I think it's doing fine. It's doing good in the corner, so I'm going to see if I can bring them outside. And even if, like, let's say this summer's temperatures are kind of like, meh, if I don't have to bring them outside, I don't mind not like leaving the tropicals inside. Like I might leave the fake birds of paradise inside this whole summer, because 1, 2, 3 are doing good. I got 3 doing good and 3 that are kind of so-so. So the so-so ones are starting to get new leaves, and they're still in the pots that they came in. So I'm going to leave them in those pots for a short period of time, and then I'm going to take them out of those pots and then put them into the barrels that I have, which I have to also acquire more of those wine barrels. Alright, enough jabbering on, but that's what that is. And then like for the planting, no, obviously for the planting it's the plant, it's the temp. So the temp that it is the temp for outside, or also the temp for if it's on the seed mat trays, or the seed mat. The sow date, the shelf, which shelf is on. All my shelves have numbers on them. The germination date, the date that I caught it germinating. I try to check on stuff every day at the same time in the afternoon. Then greenhouse date, which is what I skipped this year, which was the date when I moved the stuff into the greenhouse, and then in what zone. So each greenhouse has their own different planters that are considered zones. And then trans date is when I transplant it out to the orchard or the garden section, but we would call it the orchard because originally that's what its main plan was before I turned it into what it is. That's why there's a lot of cherry trees, fruit trees, peaches and pears and blueberries and stuff. Then it's what zone they ended up in there. Estimated harvest is the estimated harvest date that they give you on the back of the packet. And then the harvest date is the date that I came up with. So estimated harvest date, let's say on the back of the packet is like 20 days from the day of germination. So I go to the germination date, add 20 days on top of it. That's the estimated harvest date. And then the end harvest date is when I harvested it for the first time, and see if the dates coincide with each other, which I have had with other stuff. Let's see if I could throw that up now. Yeah, so like, say like the barley, the sweet oat and barley for the cats and stuff. This was going back last year. It was 10/19 of 24 was when they were ready to harvest at the height they're at, and that was exactly spot on for that one. Then I got like the radishes. I had like French breakfast and cherry bell radishes. Their estimated harvest date was 10/29 of 24, and I harvested them at 11/16/24 because I didn't need them at the time. So even though I harvested them a little later, they were still good. Okay, so one thing that's great about keeping track of stuff with the records is different things you can see. You can kind of bounce off stuff, right? So on 4/29 of 25, I had planted the sweet corn outside. I put them in the 4 rows out in the orchard section. The average temperature for that whole section out there was 65 degrees. Well, I saw germination today. Well, the sweet corn that I planted on the inside of the nursery on 5/4 of 25, only 6 days ago, sitting on a heat mat, germinated at 80 degrees. So having it on a heat mat with a dome on top of it, it germinated a lot faster than if it was actually direct sowed due to the temperature. Now, if I direct sowed it at the right temperature or the same temperature, I think they would probably coincide with one another. But because one was in a colder climate with a shit ton of rain, while it was in here in a controlled environment, it sprouted a lot quicker. That's really about it there, guys. For today, I got seed packets I got to put away. And that's really it. So like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. If you want to know more about the Bible and all the different stuff that I have in here, or the whole of records and keeping track, it's something that everybody should do as themselves, especially if you're like trying to grow so much stuff. You know, this is always good. You can map out a section of where you want to put your stuff. You know, that's out in the orchard. Then I got one of the greenhouses here. Now, of course, with the new bedroom, the planting area hasn't made the Bible yet, but that area is a rotating crop circle that's in there. And that is it for today. So everybody, like I said, like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and get out there and grow something. More videos to come later. This is Mike from Growtopia.